My team and I are excited to be here today to present to you on our topic of malaria, our workshop, and our prevention plan. Before we delve into the heart of the matter, I would like to give a quick overview of what we'll be discussing in our presentation. I'll be introducing our team, what malaria is, we'll be talking about its symptoms and transmission, the current malaria prevention, our community workshop, our prevention idea, and the resources we used. Our team includes Aliana, Arjun, Shrilalita, Huda, Isha, Abiram, and myself, Janani. The word malaria directly translates to bad air. During the 18th century, it was believed that breathing in bad air from the marshy environment caused malaria. However, that was proven to be false. Malaria is an infectious disease that is caused by a parasite that belongs to the Plasmodium genus of a mosquito, specifically the female mosquito species called Anopheles. They carry parasites which are injected into the bloodstream of a person after they bite. These then affect the liver and cause the sickness and symptoms. Malaria cases are usually found in Africa and East Asia. The purpose of our workshop is to educate about 25 people on what malaria is and our prevention strategy.
One of the goals of our workshop is to further educate Nigerians about malaria, and this includes symptoms and transmission. Some of the symptoms of uncomplicated malaria includes intermittent fever, headaches, rigor or chills, myalgia, which refers to muscle aches and pain. There's also body weakness, some dizziness, some loss of appetite, nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, and general discomfort. Malaria can also lead to more severe symptoms and complications, including prostration, which is severe body weakness that might prevent someone from walking properly, for example. And they can also come with irregular heart rate, abnormality in breathing. They can also have chest pains or repeated seizures. And they could also show jaundice, which is the yellow discoloration of the eyes and the skin. It is actually an indicator of anemia, which is one of the most common complication of malaria. Um, for transmission, there are various ways of transmitting the disease that people should know about, but the most common way of spreading it is through a mosquito bite. Female Anopheles mosquitoes can carry the parasite once they have contracted blood from someone who already has malaria, and then they can transmit this parasite into other uninfected person. Um, Once the parasite have entered the body, they travel to the liver where they can lie dormant for 10 to 28 days. And once they have mature, they rupture the liver cell and goes into the bloodstream to infect the red blood cells. This then allows the parasite to asexually reproduce and multiply. The red blood cells are later broken down. That is why anemia is one of the complications of malaria, and this also triggers the fever symptom of malaria. And once it is released back into the bloodstream, it can then be contracted by other mosquitoes, and it can also then be transmitted through other blood to blood contact, including blood transfusions or sharing needles, as well as from pregnant mothers to fetuses. But because they share this infected blood, but this happens quite rarely.
The current malaria prevention strategies out there are generally to prevent mosquitoes from biting humans. So these would come in the forms of mosquito coils, insect repellents, insect repellent treated nets, covering skin with long pants and long shirts and tucking them in, as well as mosquito repellent ointment and avoiding stagnant water.
Some of the primary goals of our workshop is to collaborate on learning about the transmission and spread of rampant malaria. We also include learning about innovation and creating affordable and effective malaria prevention methods for everyday use. And our target audience are mainly adults ages from 20 to 40, one representative per household, and we focus on breadwinners or caretakers of the family. And in terms of our activities, the head of the household will learn about the transmission and spreading of malaria through a spin diagram and symptoms game. And they'll also be shown a recipe to make an affordable lemongrass oil recipe that prevents mosquito bites, ultimately reducing the spread of malaria.
For the itemized budget of the workshop, we consolidated the budgets and costs associated with the materials and supplies that LI would have to acquire to operate the community workshop. So first we had 350 sheets of paper, which would be more than enough to cover all the printed materials to be distributed during the workshop for $4.81. 50 or so paper clips for the spin model, which is $4, or no, it's equal to 36 cents, $4.98 for a pack of 700. So that's even more buffer, just in case. 125 stalks of lemongrass, which is equivalent to about 5 adult plants, $10 for each adult plant, which would equate to $50 for the 125 stalks needed. 25 liters of coconut oil, which is equivalent to $92.86. 51-liter jars, which is equivalent to $68. 25 strainers, equivalent to $50. 5 rolling pins to be shared in a group of 5 people. $25.95, and 5 knives to cut the stalks, which is equivalent to $11.62, totaling up to $298.60 of our allotted $500.
Our idea or prevention plan is to show the Nigerians how to make lemongrass oil and play a matching card game to help them remember the details of the symptoms and transmission of malaria. The reason the lemongrass oil works is because lemongrass contains citronella, which is a natural repellent for mosquitoes. This aids in the prevention of malaria. Applying the lemongrass oil before leaving the house or after taking a bath will give protection from the mosquito bites.
So as you know, we're going to be teaching them how to make lemongrass oil, which is a mosquito repellent. This recipe is super easy and super straightforward to make. Not to mention these ingredients are readily available there, so they're going to be cheap as well. Now this recipe takes about 4 days to make, and I know that sounds like a long time, but considering how much you can make, like almost up to a liter of oil at a time, that 4 days is pretty insignificant. So it takes 4 days to make, so we can't show the entire process in our workshop. But as you can see, the majority of that 4 days is actually just waiting around. So we can definitely get them started and send them home with a brochure that teaches them how to make it on their own. Now, this lemongrass oil, it's going to be applied primarily during the night. As we've heard from our doctors in Nigeria, a lot of insect bites happen when people come back from work and, they're talking to their friends, they go to sleep, and that's when they get bit. So they're going to wear it in the night and they can just wash it off in the morning. On top of that, we're also going to play a matching game that reinforces the information learned in the lesson of our workshop. How it works is this group of 24, 25 people, it's going to be broken down into teams of 6 or so, with 1 supervisor each. And the supervisor is going to be given a list of questions, and all the participants are going to be given a couple of cards with the answers to those questions. The supervisor is going to read out 1 question, and the participant with the card with the correct answer is going to keep the card in a pile or, get rid of it. And this process repeats until there are no more people with cards left on the team. The team with the first team with all of their cards gone is the winner. And here we have a brochure. It's super simple and straightforward.
So this would be the itemized budget for the individual families to continue making the oil on their own. Keep in mind, this figure is significantly lower if local ingredients are to be utilized. The budget excludes readily available household items like knives and rolling pins. So the first item would be about 13 lemongrass seeds, which would be 7 cents per seed, so totaling to 91 cents, less than $1. 1 liter of coconut oil. This is the top end price, about 12,000 naira, which is equivalent to $15.45. However, if you go to rural areas or just outside of the city, the price often, decreases to about 1,000 naira, which would be equivalent to $1.30. So that would slash the budget even further. So 1 cloth strainer would be equivalent to $2, and 2 1-liter jars would be equivalent to $2.72. So at the maximum, the total family budget would be $21. Although if they were to acquire the coconut oil for those reduced prices, the total would be closer to $7.
So these are all of the resources we use to create this presentation and to inform our strategy, our prevention strategy. And thank you for listening to our presentation, and we open the floor to feedback and questions.
So this time around, I think I want to change my style. I love the way, the orderliness, the chronological arrangement you have for your presentation. Your presentation is so detailed. You start with an overview, then taking into cognizance of other details, then you now concluded with the resources. That is standard, okay? And that being said, I will also say that the presentation purpose, you clearly state the objective or the purpose of your workshop generally, what you wanted to achieve. That has also been clearly stated in simple terms. That I also love. And I will also say that the selection of your demography is beautiful. You put it in such a way that you considered, having to cover a lot of ground, taking one adult between the age of 20 to 40 from a household, meaning you are not going to take more than two adults from a house, which means you're going to touch more household by using that technique. And one thing I can say about your whole presentation is you guys were so business minded and so business oriented that everything was detailed, even the budget, to the last cent was really calculated. That is awesome. You're not only doctors, but also businessmen and women. So I love that part. So finally, I want to say well done for the hard work. Looking at this presentation, I can see, the teamwork, I can see the sweat you put in, I can see the time, the dedication, commitment, the passion you have for, touching life here. That is great and wonderful. So congratulations and thank you for choosing to touch life of people you never know and possibly may never meet. Congratulations once again. Okay.
Thank you.
To the doctor.
All right. Thank you guys for putting up a wonderful presentation. I keep saying it, and I hope you guys wouldn't really, get tired of hearing the fact that I'm really proud of you guys. Right from the first day I met you all, you all impressed me, and up to this very point, I really commend you for your tenacity, your commitment, and other things you have showed during the course of this program this summer. So with respect to your presentation, it was beautiful, and I would like to commend you for the outline. Okay, so the outline gave me, it gave out the content of your presentation, and that's what is expected. When I saw your outline, I already tailored my mind. My mental activity was already tailored towards the content of the presentation. So it was easy for me to follow through. Okay. I also like the fact that, you demonstrated, a basic knowledge of the whole, theme or the content of your presentation. So you weren't just reading them, you're actually teaching us. Okay. So which, tells us a lot about what you have learned and how you intend to implement and practice what you've learned during the summer. Okay, so touching lives and saving millions of lives, which is commendable. Okay, so then in the workshop where you talked about, I like the fact that you tried to pick up the head of the household. All right, so in Nigeria, we know this, once the head of the house, picks up an idea, there's 90 to 95%, chance that the rest of the family it's going to follow through. Okay. So I like that fact, and it demonstrates to me that you know what Nigeria is all about. Okay, you know the culture, the tradition, and the basic things about the people you're trying to help. And it goes a long way in telling about your show of empathy. Okay, and this is commendable. I love that so much about all of you. Even if it's not the medical aspect, the humanitarian aspect is something that keeps me very joyous about what you have all done. And the oil there, we're talking about you're supposed to present the soap and the oil. And when we got the idea, it was actually better to get the oil because it's easy to prepare, and it's easy to use. All right. So it's easy for the participants and the beneficiaries to, seek for, I saw Owl trying to take a screenshot of your presentation, but he's got a lot of lemongrass in his house. Okay. So he took a screenshot. I'm sure he's going to prepare these things and make use of it. Okay. So it's beautiful, it's excellent, and I'm really proud of what you have achieved. Okay. If a lot of people had this opportunity, the world would be a better place. Okay. All right. So congratulations. I'm really proud of all. Okay. Huda, Aliana, Isha, Shrilalita, Swapna. So thank you. Congratulations to all of you. Okay.
Thank you, Dr. Ibrahim and Awal, for the wonderful comment for this team. I totally agree with you guys. Guys, I just have to give it to you. Congratulations, your presentation is really amazing. I really love it. And the most amazing part is that you look at what is going to happen at the end of the day. Like, how do we make sure that these people can afford? So looking at the poverty level of the people, by taking that into consideration is the most amazing part, because sometimes it's not coming up with an idea, but how can that idea be actualized? So bringing up or coming up with the idea of using the local remedies is always the best, because it's something that at their disposal, and these people can be able to get all these resources. So it's a very good thinking that you guys have put so much thought. I don't want to say much because it's going to be more like a repetition for from Dr. Ibrahim and Awal, but the only thing that I noticed with your team is that there's a lot of hard work. There's a lot of understanding about tropical diseases, and connecting the dots, how it's actually transformed from one aspect of the disease to another aspect. It's incredible. I can't stop listening to your presentation because it's really educating. So, and a lot of people I know will learn a lot from it, and will definitely understand the reason why they need to take it so seriously, and how they can be able to prevent themselves. And giving them the local remedies, it's like saving them a lot of cost in terms of going to the hospital, or spending unnecessary amount of money instead of feeding their family. So guys, congratulations, and thank you so much for putting all this amazing presentation. I really love it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Jessica, you can stop recording.